Hey guys, welcome back. Let me set this up for you guys. Okay, so me and my partner on foot, we left our vehicle uh, about a quarter mile back in a secure place. Uh, we're walking along this road to get into this wash that actually has a bridge, and it travels north south, more of a north than south, going east, but it's kind of slanted north south. So in that wash, there's loose sand and there's also heavy brush, tall brush, and it's about 50 to 70 miles from the fence. No, I'm gonna say like 75 miles from the fence, but it's really, really thick, and you can actually penetrate it and actually lay up on it out of sight, out of mind, right? And your vantage point would just to go up a little hill from the wash to the road right before the bridge either ends or starts, depending on how you're going to approach it and how your vehicle is going to be rolling up on you. So this happens fast. The layup, they could be there for up to a half a day to about not more than a day because you got to keep moving. People have to go to the bathroom. People have to go to, they got to, people are going to be human. So you have to always be on the move. So maybe you can lay up for about 10 days, 10 hours. I mean, not more than 10 hours. And 8 hours would probably be too long. 8 hours would probably be too long. So my day starts off not that good. For the reason is I made a mistake as I came into shift. Me and my partner were patrolling around that area, but not really close. So we roll up on this vehicle parked along the road. He's pulled over, and it's a Mexican national by himself in a rental car, apparently rented by his brother. My partner takes the driver's side. I take the passenger side, and as he's answering these questions, I can hear the conversation, and I drop the ball. I got too excited. I jumped ahead and I opened the passenger side door. My luck, it was unlocked. After realizing what I did, I just closed it. All I could do is just wrap it up. I walked away. But this guy had no business there. In a rental car, not in his name. What was he waiting for? Probably people. I don't think any kind of contraband, just people probably. And I felt bad. I mean, there was no going. Yeah, what could I do, right? My partner knew I messed up. He knew. He finished the conversation with the gentleman, and he proceeded to take off. I got in the car and I just gasped and I just laid off a couple of cuss words and kept going. But it really really bothered me. It really really bothered me for the fact that not only did I conduct myself in an unprofessional way, and I'm not going to incriminate myself, but yeah, I knew I was wrong. I knew I was wrong, and My partner acknowledged it, and he did not say one word to me or to anyone else, and I appreciate that. He didn't make fun of me. He didn't make me an example. None of that. He was real professional about it. He knew I had to correct myself, and there was no need for him to actually take it any further, right? So as the evening goes, he tells me, "Okay, so let's go get that group." And I'm looking at him like, "Oh, I'm just going along with him. Maybe he knows something I don't know. You know what I mean?" He goes, "There's a group out there. Their ride just left." I said, "Okay, let's do it. Let's do it." So I get my nice stuff going. I'll put a little, you got to change in this area. The weather can change fast, and it can get wet. It can get cold. Even snow can actually stop by. So as we're getting ready, he tells me to grab a long arm. I said, "All right." I grabbed one there, grabbed one, and only one of them was going to carry one because one has to have one's you know hands available. So we ditch our vehicle. We're walking along the highway, just out of sight. And as we're getting towards this wash, we kind of billy goat up a little rock berm to come down on the opposite side of the actual bridge, on the north side of the bridge. And we can't see anybody, but we can smell somebody. And like I've mentioned before in other videos, this smell is a unique smell of actual how do you say it, like a plant, like when you have a grass stain and the grass gives off like a smell. It's more of a like a scent of just being up against the brush for long periods of time, and for being out in the bush for hours or even days. So you accumulate this odor, which was in the air. So as we're coming under the bridge, hoping to actually not run into them, because there's a difference in actual techniques. And for example, if you're out in Imperial Beach or out in the beach area or the actual river valley, you have a potential chance. If you can't apprehend the actual people, you can just push them back and not worry for the fact that there will be stationary vehicles along that stretch, that 6 mile stretch. And just push them back over the fence. And eventually the shift will change, and their decision of going that day or the next day, it changes. But you just push them back, and you're able to do that. You're able to fall back on that. In contrary to knowing there is a group up in the mountains in the East County, you don't have that advantage of actually pushing groups back, because once you push that group back, you're going to start all over again, because that group's now going to decide when they're going to try again, what time, what actual location. So you want to just apprehend as much as you can, so you don't have to spend time on this group. And they'll wait on the other side of the fence for hours. For hours. and you have other areas to tend to, other areas to do your thing. So having that group just get pushed back, it's not smart. It's not smart because now somebody has to babysit this actual group. Keep an eye on it, keep an eye on it, keep an eye on it for the outcome to be they go into a vehicle and head back south into town. Now you spent 5, 6 hours out there just waiting for them to commit when you have other things to actually tend to. And there's a lot of actual tasks throughout the day that need to be done when you're patrolling a certain area, a certain amount of miles, and every particular zone is different for different terrain, for different in manpower, for different technology. It's all changes. So now, as we come down, now it's really really dark, and what we're trying to do is actually not come off. We could have easily crossed the road and dipped into the wash, but and they could have easily seen us or our silhouettes. So we circled around, came back, and are now trying to get as far south as possible for to stop them from actually getting pushed back, actually going back south. So now we're actually waiting there, trying to get a game plan so other units that are coming onto shift can actually come from the north, just light up, and hopefully they'll take off south. And that puts us in a position where we can just light them up ourselves, and there won't be a confrontation. There won't be any kind of threat. There won't be any kind of actual leap across. The only one that's actually going to be leaping is the actual guide. But he's going to try to blend in as much as he can with all these migrants, and they won't talk. You could ask them all day long, who is the guy? Who is the guy? Don't forget, they got to be in contact with this person eventually to get them across. And they won't talk. They won't talk. So now our partner is actually communicating with the station to see who's going to be available and what's their actual ETA to the actual bridge. So the field commander, the field officer, I should say, is telling us, hey, just the most, probably about 10 to 15 minutes, we'll be out there ready to go. And so, okay, that's fine. And this area is it's not that wide, but it's wide enough. Maybe 3 sizes of that bridge, which wasn't that big. And it's real dense, the actual brush. And the most awkward thing happened, the most uncomfortable thing happened. It wasn't fear, we didn't get spooked, but we felt, we actually felt, what word could I use? We actually felt, I guess the only thing is 6 hours. We got butterflies in our stomach for the fact that we didn't know exactly, we didn't have control of the situation. We didn't have any kind of knowledge, of warning, or even a vague memo. Nothing of the sort. And so now we're on the radio in contact with the units that are coming in vehicles to the bridge. And we're talking about how we're going to execute this actual plan on our radio frequency. Our radio frequency that our sector is monitoring us and is recording our conversations and actually is acknowledging that we are working traffic in case anything or anything pops off. They have an idea where we're at. If we can just say we need help, if we can just call the call sign that someone's hurt, they have an idea. They're tracking exactly where we're working this actual traffic. And it's very, very professional. Everything is official. Everything is on point when it's coming out of sector. So we are actually, my partner's communicating with our backup to come in towards the bridge, when all of a sudden a different conversation is occurring on our channel, with one of them saying, "Do you think that's our group they're working on?" And another person that's not from our station acknowledges, "I think it is our group." A few seconds later, a truck, lights roll up to the bridge. My partner asks our backup if it's them. They acknowledge a negative. It is not us. And so now they're actually, if they were going fast then, now they're going faster now. And so even though we are not on the actual same frequency, a different station from both east and west is acknowledging this conversation. And we still do not know who is actually on this radio frequency. So now our field operation officer gets on the radio and calls them out. Who's on this frequency, and they come out with their call sign. And we'll call their actual call sign. We'll call it Sierra. We'll call it Sierra. And both of them give their call sign Sierra 123 Sierra 567. That's just an example. It's not the real call sign. They come up with both call signs, and they knew they were wrong because they did not want to communicate, and they did not want to correct the confusion, because you have two agents on foot close, probably 15 yards from the fence. You have units coming towards that bridge, and they're working a controlled traffic, supposedly, of a group of 20 under the bridge. Well, just south of the bridge, right? In the brush. So now, as my field officer is just going crazy on the phone, hitting them up, saying, "Hey, what's up? What are you guys doing? And why didn't you let us know you were going to be working in our area?" They didn't answer. A truck rolls up. The group is actually told to get in the truck. And we weren't even close to them either. They came out of a different area. We had calculated the wrong area, but they came out of the same area, but a different corner. So we were way off, but we were still going to be south of them. It was still controllable. So they just veer off into the wash, come up to the road on the bridge, and just load up and back up a pickup truck and take off. My operations officer, he was pissed. He was upset. He let them know. He said, "Hey man, next time you guys come down here, you guys better let us know. They're gonna be conducting traffic." It was such. It was confusing because technically and just out of respect, just out of professionalism, they will tell you, you know what, we're going to be working on your area, we're going to be working on your city, we're going to be working on your town. That's going to be us. So there's no confusion of our operation. And it wasn't even really, well, I don't know how to the extent of it. It wasn't really a big deal. All they were doing just doing a controlled delivery of 20 illegal entry into a truck to see where that truck was going to take them. The truck was also a controlled driver, so maybe they were going to take this truck full of aliens to a safe house, and from that safe house, they were going to continue their investigation. But it wasn't so much that we weren't sharing intel. These, what I assume they were special agents, they just did not want to bother and letting our supervisor know that they were going to be in the area working. Our supervisor doesn't have to tell us anything. All he has to tell us, hey, there's going to be some, we would have a name for it. Some green traffic in this area. And that's all they had to say. We would back off and just let them have it. That's all it would take, but it didn't happen that way. Nobody got hurt. Nobody jumped the gun. And we had just had to deal with that kind of stuff, and it wouldn't be the first time, and it wouldn't be the last time. And that's just a different scenario on how intel was not shared to the point where I don't know why I felt this way. I felt like maybe they're checking up on us, maybe they're trying to find out if we would just let this traffic go, or with that, just my mentality is just my younger version of my thinking. All right, guys, I hope you guys like and subscribe, and sorry I made it a little bit longer today, but I didn't want to make a part 2, so please give a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks.